Hi everyone, so today's video will be part 2 to my first e-collar video. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. I'm sorry for any noises you hear. There's a little bit of construction going on in my residence hall and it's pouring outside. College. Okay, so if you see me looking down, it's because I wrote down the main topics that I was asked about through my Instagram, and Wes is going to be chewing on his Benny Bone, so we got that noise. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is how much it was, what device I use, etc. So I use the Mini Educator. It is the ET300. So the company that makes it, e-collar Technologies, its retail price is $200. I bought mine off of Chewy for $179.99, so I saved $20. That was the cheapest available option for me. So I mean, $20 is better than nothing. And then it shipped free with Chewy because it was greater than $50. And I unfortunately have not tried any other collar. I was recommended this by Claire originally, and then I knew a whole bunch of people in the community use it. It's a professional grade e-collar. It gives muscle stimulations. It gives muscle stimulations, which are these buttons, a vibration mode. This is how you change the level. I go into more detail about it in my first video. So that's the version I use. You can go check it out at ecollar.com. Another common question I got was how to determine the stimulation level. So I actually did not use this until I met with my trainer, and he works a lot with e-collars. He recommends this specifically. He was at home, and so he helped me really introduce this to Wes because this is something like I did not want to screw up, and I didn't really know enough about it to properly do it myself, so that's why I chose to just work on it with my trainer. So he put the collar on, and we gave him a bunch of treats to help with the tightness. So just positive associations, like put it near a dog, treat, keep it going, then put it on him, treat, etc. And then so we started at level 1. You can see. And then we basically, my trainer, he basically just hit this button, the one stim button, until he could see that Wes felt it. And we knew that Wes felt it because his ear twitched. And that's really how you know. So when we first started with Wes on this, because of all of his fluffy puppy fur, his working level was actually a 12. And I just know other dogs, they respond to 3s. It's really different for every dog. Now he'll start to feel it. Depending on his excitability rate, he'll start to feel it around 8 to 10, but when he's excited, he won't feel it until around 30-ish. So that's just Wes, and because he's a very active, excited dog, he sometimes needs the extra push. Does the e-collar hurt the dog? No. So, but let me say, if you're at level 100, it's going to hurt them. The really high levels, 100 is the highest level, but those levels are meant for emergency. If your dog runs in the street and a car is coming, you can use it to get them back quickly, anything like that. I don't use those high levels. Knock on wood that something doesn't happen, but what this e-collar does is that it gives a muscle stimulation. If you've ever been to physical therapy, I'm not sure what the machines are called, but I had to go to physical therapy for both my feet for a few years, and they put on the machine, and the wires are part of a sticker, and then the sticker goes on you, and then it develops the tingly feeling where it's placed. That's what the dogs feel. it's almost the same technology. So that's what they feel. It's not a shock. Level 100 is a shock, but the lower levels are not nearly as painful as a shock or anything. They're not painful at all. So what a lot of handlers do is that before they put it on their dog, they put it on themselves. And so I'm gonna show you that right now. So I'm gonna hold it in my hand. I'm gonna hold it this way, and I'm gonna show you like that so you can see the light when it goes off, so you know I'm doing it. Right now I'm gonna do it at a 3. Okay, ready? I literally didn't even feel that. So now we're gonna go to an 8, which is like the first level Wes starts to feel. I hope you can see the light go off. Ready? That I like barely felt. We'll do 13 now. Hope you can see the level. Ready? So that I felt. So it's like, it just feels like, it's kind of just that my whole hand just tingled like in a second. Yeah, I mean, I'll just go up to 15 and that'll be the last I show you. Like, it's not painful. You can watch my face. You can see the light that it's working. Okay, ready? So, I mean, it's really not painful. I also got a question about if I use the vibrate setting at all. Sometimes I will. When he was a puppy, Wes did not respond to it at all. Now he's older, he feels it better. I think it's just because he lost his puppy fur. So I will use vibrate in a like low distraction environment because that's when Wes can feel it best, or like if we're playing in the field and we're working on recall and he's a little too far, I'll use a vibrate and then he just knows to like come find me. So that's when I do use vibrate. I always have Wes wearing the e-collar, but this doesn't mean like I'm constantly using it. It's just that no matter how perfect your dog is, there's always a possibility of something happening. Like up here we have deer, and Wes doesn't have a high prey drive, so he doesn't really do it with squirrels, but I'm sure if he saw a deer that with no instructions from me, he'd probably try to chase it. And like, God forbid this happens and he just runs away because he's off leash, I have the e-collar and I can get him back to me. So that's why it's always on, especially if he's off leash. I'm sure you've seen my walks in the woods up here at school on my Instagram. So yeah, that's why it's always on. With recall, I actually have a clip to show you that I'm gonna put right here. Okay, so a lot of you guys wanted to know how to use the e-collar for recall. As you can see, Wes is just kind of roaming. It's pouring out, still roaming. So basically, you want to put it on like a lowish level, like their working level. And I either discussed this before or after this clip in the video. Okay, so basically, after you say your recall command, you're just going to keep tapping this black button right above the red one, and that delivers a stim every time you hit it. It's not the continuous one, it's not the vibrate. This is what my trainer taught me. And I also have treats in my hand to, of course, reward. So, Leslie, come. And then you stop when your dog is near you. So, Leslie, come. Yes, good man. You just want to keep stimming at the low level until your dog is near you or close enough where you want him or her, because at such a low level, they just want to turn the annoying thing off. So when they associate being near you without the stim, that's what really gives you a good recall. So I hope you enjoyed that little recall video, just to go over what I said, because I know my head was cut off in it. So you're just gonna keep them on their lowest working level, second lowest, just a low level. And after you give your command, you start like hitting the button to give a little like annoying buzz. That's how my trainer called it. And the dog is soon gonna learn that they can turn the buzzing off when they're near you, when they're close enough to you that you feel comfortable with. So for obedience, it's a similar thing, especially during like training sessions. If I needed to put Wes in a down and he was being kind of stubborn, it's just like corrections continuously until they do what they're asked. So they learn that in order to shut it off, they just need to listen to you. I will use like some corrections if Wes goes to sniff something, or if he like pays too much attention to another dog, like corrections would be appropriate there. Healing, it's similar to recall in that you want to keep hitting the button until they're close enough with you. Yeah, so that's kind of just all about recall, healing, obedience. When I use it, I'll use it if Wes is being stubborn. I'll use it like if he's not behaving appropriately, or if anything happens like that. And also just having it on and having the collar makes me feel less stressed, because I know if anything were to happen, I have a way to control my dog even in like the highest distraction setting. Because again, service dogs are amazing creatures and they're way better behaved than like pet dogs, for example. But a dog is a dog, just like us humans. We all make mistakes, we all kind of do funky things. I don't expect Wes to be perfect every day of his life. I think that's a little, that's too high of an expectation. So just having the collar on him and knowing that if anything were to happen, like especially in the woods, like if a tree falls and he gets spooked and he like runs away, I know that I have control of Wes and he'll come back to me. So yeah, so that's my e-collar video part 2. I know that a lot of people disagree with e-collars, with prongs. I respect everyone's opinion as long as you respect mine. Balanced training is the method that I go with. Wes is not that treat motivated, he's not toy motivated, and he's not praise motivated. So, and he was a very stubborn puppy. So, especially when we were like really starting to get into training and he wouldn't listen, like positive enforcement was not something that worked for Wes and I specifically. It does work for a lot of dogs, but again, like a lot of other dogs need a form of correction. And of course the e-collar can be abused, but anything can be abused. A flat collar can be abused and collapse an esophagus. Prongs can be abused. I do have a prong, we use it occasionally. But again, if you are educated and you've done your research, you're taught how to use everything properly, e-collars, prongs, martingales, anything like that, like they are amazing tools. So if you are struggling with your dog being a little stubborn and whatnot, I would highly suggest an e-collar. It's really changed our lives. Yeah, so please respect my opinion. And if there's hate in the comments, I'm just gonna kind of delete it at this point, because nothing anyone says to me is gonna change how I feel about this e-collar. And I respect your opinion until you disrespect me or my opinion. So let's just all have a nice, friendly time in the comments. If you want to like debate a point or anything, I'm willing to do that as long as the whole thing's respectful. So thank you for watching.